Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Are you ready for the toilet paper apocalypse to happen? Unfortunately, I think it's already begun, and I thought we could talk about maybe ways to get ready, but also several other things because I'm a little scatterbrained today on what to talk about. There's several things that I wanted to cover, and instead of just picking one, I think I'm going to do one of my all over the board videos and see how that works. Sometimes you guys like them, sometimes not so much. I've seen this in the news, or not the news. I've seen it on Twitter, Facebook, all over the internet of people already posting their pictures of going to their local grocery store and entire aisles completely cleaned out of toilet paper or meat or other products. In fact, I've got a friend that lives out of state, and they posted some pictures saying that they'd been to the grocery store just 2 days earlier, and the toilet paper, paper towel aisle looked just normal, filled up like normal. They went back 2 days later, and they snapped pictures, and there was nothing. I mean, there wasn't even like one sitting up on the shelf in the back or one laying over on the side that someone missed. There was nothing. It was completely cleaned out. And we're seeing that more and more. And is it justified? Well, it's hard to say. It's justified in the sense that a lot of you folks are either in lockdown again or it's probably coming soon. And everybody is starting to realize that, people are going to panic. They're going to panic. So to beat the panic, we're going to panic some more, right? We know that everyone's going to panic and run to the store and buy everything. So to get ahead of the curve, we're all going to panic and go to the store and buy everything. And what I think we might see happening, we might actually see an even worse panic because of panic buying. If you say that word enough, it starts to sound funny. Because the last time in spring that it happened, it wasn't everybody out panic buying. There were still, and I don't know the numbers, but I would guess there was probably close to 40 to 50% of the people that just wasn't doing any panic buying. In that initial, when everyone was going out and you were seeing, baskets full and all this kind of stuff, no one, there was a good portion of the population that wasn't doing that. And then they, weeks later, were the ones complaining that everything's gone. I can't go buy my toilet paper because all of you hoarders bought, enough toilet paper for the next 10 years. And that group of people now knows that regardless of whether there really is going to be a shortage, the fact that there's going to be a lot of people panic buying, then that portion of a group of people that didn't do it last time because they thought it was ridiculous, they're going to say, you know what? I don't want to be without toilet paper again. I don't want to be without my frozen pizzas and my potato chips and my, Coca-Cola and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to get out and they're going to panic buy too. And like we've said over and over again on this channel, it doesn't matter so much if there's an actual shortage. And there is indication on a macro level globally that there are shortages of certain products, especially big agricultural crops for long-term purposes. But is there a shortage of toilet paper? Is there is there the lack of ability for these companies to manufacture enough toilet paper? Who knows? The fact is, though, that people are going out there and they're buying it like crazy. And here's what I think. Now, I don't make predictions on this channel, but I have a gut feeling that the lockdowns, the just increased regulations, these unconstitutional mandates, and the hype from the media about this convid that's going to be killing everybody and the case count and all the stuff, all the hype, okay? I think it's probably going to be kicked into high gear probably somewhere around November 30th to December 1st. And the reason why is I have a gut feeling that a lot of these companies are trying to hold back to get through this next week. because this next week is probably the biggest shopping week of the entire year. A lot of companies are losing money in the red all the way up into this week, and this week is what turns them around, their balance sheets around, so that they can actually turn a profit. Grocery stores sell massive amounts of food. It's Thanksgiving week. And then people do their Christmas shopping or their Hanukkah shopping or just their whatever holiday that they celebrate. They start doing it typically this week, especially on Friday, Black Friday sales. So I have a gut feeling that while it's definitely talked about, some cities, some states are doing it, we're not seeing massive widespread panic like we did back in March and April, because a lot of companies, I think, are trying to hold back. Let me give you an example of why I think this. I saw this with my own eyes a couple of weeks ago, and since then, I have heard reports of this at other places. The local Walmart that's the closest one that's to us, and we rarely go there. We only go there if there's just something that we really can't get anywhere else. But a couple of weeks ago, I drove by, and let me say this: we never really experienced much of any kind of lockdown. The only lockdown we've experienced is what private businesses put on, meaning limiting the amount of people in a business or forcing you to wear masks, which that didn't last long. But mostly what we saw we always complained because it was just weird. At Walmart, where they set up the tape, the ribbon stuff out front and make you change the way you go in and go out like a bunch of cattle in the cattle chute. You know what I'm talking about? That was up for a while, and then they got rid of it. Except 2 weeks ago, it all came back. They're not using it, but all the cones, all the signs, stay 6 feet apart, all that is back. That had all gone away. In our Walmart, it was all normal. There was still someone there. If you wanted a mask, you could get it, but no one was keeping track of who went in there. At least counting on their little screen. There was no taped off it, but now it's back. And I've heard of other people saying it's back there in their Walmart. So what I think we're seeing is this buildup. Some places that they're just jumping the gun on it. They're locking down. We've got these absolutely tyrannical, unconstitutional laws, and they're not laws, they're mandates from these dictator mayors and dictator governors saying that you can't have any more than 6 people or 10 people in your home, or you can't have anyone in your home for more than 2 hours, all this kind of stuff, which is an absolute violation of the U.S. Constitution, where we have the right, an inalienable right to peaceably assemble. And that the Constitution says the government can't trample on that right, but yet they are. Those few places that's already started this, they're kind of leading the way. The rest of the country, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of pressure to start increasing the lockdown measures probably here after Thanksgiving is all done. I could be wrong. I'm not making a prediction, but I just have a gut feeling the way things are moving. And there's a lot of governors that are saying, you know what, we're not doing that again. Florida governor, Texas governor, I think here in Missouri, he's alluded to it, saying that we're not doing any more lockdowns anymore. They say that, but how long will they last when their own voters are so terrified because all they're hearing about in the news is all the people falling over dead? And everyone that's contracting this, deadly disease that kills 0.5, 0.6%, they're going to want to, do what their voters say, what their constituents say, because they want to be reelected. And it's going to be pretty tough, I think, in the long run for some of these governors to hold out, or some of these mayors. So I'm saying all this, that you and I, if there's anything you need, you better stock up. Now, you should have been stocked up all along, because you've been watching this channel, right? For weeks, for months, for years. Same with other channels, so you know this. But there's very possible some more lockdowns coming, so you got to get ready for that. And just this whole, we're kind of already seeing the media start to shift. It's almost like there's this battle within the media. Do we cover the election fraud court cases because, well, deep down inside we know it's legitimate, but we certainly don't want people to know about it? Or do we cover this, convid with all these, mass ridiculous stories of people just falling over, and it's all ridiculous, or at least a lot of it is. Are people getting ill? Are people getting sick? Some people dying, yes, but they're completely blowing it out of proportion. And so I think that there's this battle with some journalists. Not saying that they're good, but there's this battle. Which one do we talk about? Because we're seeing just little snippets here, definitely slanted towards the left, but we are seeing little snippets about what's going on with the election. And if what they say, the attorneys for the president, if what they say is true, this is going to be huge, folks. You add all this lockdown and panic because of the surge of the second wave, and then in a few weeks, if it plays out like the president and his attorneys say they want it to, you're going to get a lot of people realizing that Joe Biden is not really the president-elect. And although we talked about all the potential violence, and it never really happened. I mean, we did get some, but it wasn't this apocalyptic civil war that a lot of people had talked about. And we were saying on here, it may not happen, but you should at least get ready for it. That's very well possible when it's going to happen. These people now for weeks, and by the time if it plays out, this is all a big if. If it plays out in the Donald Trump's favor, and the right paradigm wins, the right wing of the bird ends up winning, all of these people, or at least a lot of them on the left, that's kind of quiet down for a while because, they've been told, listen, our guy's going to win. So just shh, don't make any more violence because it's going to make us look bad, okay? Don't go out there. Racism and all these kinds of things, they're not really an issue right now. Okay, that's ended. Let's just be quiet, because our guy looks like he could win. We got to make him look good. So don't go out there and no more looting for new TVs and tennis shoes anymore. But when it becomes pretty apparent to the point that the news media cannot ignore it any longer, then you're going to see people starting to go bonkers. Okay. Because it's been an emotional roller coaster for them. And these people are hyper ridiculous emotional to begin with, because you can just watch their stuff they put on the internet or how they act out on the streets, and they have no control of their emotions. Some of these people, you kind of wonder, are they on medication or do they need medication? Anyways, topic for another subject, another video. When they start to realize that all this hype that they've bought into for the last few weeks, that their guy won, and then now he's probably not. The average foot soldier of the left of the Democrat Party on the streets, they're gonna lose it, and that's when you could possibly see some violence. Again, you add that to all these lockdowns that we're starting to see. Boom. Another troubled time. I mean, there's a lot of other rabbit trails, I guess we could go down, of what really is going on with the election. Does it really matter who gets elected, because it's all part of a scheme anyways? Is there more to it? Servers being picked up by the army in Germany, if that even happened or not, and on and on and on and on. But the point is, we're not any less on shaky grounds right now than we were 4 or 5 weeks ago, when there was this build up to the election, and everyone was like, it's going to be bad. I'm getting really nervous. We're locking and loading. We're clean, ready to go, and all this kind of stuff. And then the election kind of happened, and it was a little bumpy. a few speed bumps, but then it's kind of quieted down, and they're pushing their guy, they're pushing their agenda. Take this advantage of this kind of calm before the storm, because there's a strong possibility, not saying it's going to happen, but there's a possibility. So if you didn't get yourself as prepared as you wanted to before the election, you have some time now. It's it's this whole virus and this whole election stuff right now, even though that's probably the smallest thing we have to worry about because there's big global stuff going on. It's right in our face, and there is an obvious, definite agenda. And I don't want people to get so caught up in the specifics of what's going on, what they're doing. What we need to do is be able to kind of step outside of all this and say, I see the garbage and the manipulation of the media and the at least beyond what they're telling us, to try to see the truth with the election, with this, convid and all that kind of stuff. So as an individual that's able to kind of think through it, I'm going to get myself prepared. And that's kind of where we should be. To be able to critically think, do some rational reasoning of what's going on, and take the opportunity for you and I to get ourselves prepared, get our families prepared. The stuff with this pandemic, I'm not supposed to say that word here on YouTube, but whatever. It's ridiculous. The stuff that they're putting down for deaths. I was watching something, I believe it was one of the health department directors or someone in Illinois or Indiana, and they flat out admitted that any person that dies, regardless of why they die, if it's proven that they had the bug at the time of death, they're listed as a COVID death. So if you're riding along on your motorcycle and you hit a big old rock and you do a flip down a 2,000-foot embankment off of a cliff, COVID death. Personal story. My mother-in-law, she was sick just recently. She's, got this croupy kind of snotty thing and been fighting it. So she goes to the doctor, and of course they test her. First thing they do. Test comes back negative. Okay? She doesn't have it. Doing just a normal treatment for whatever. But you know what they told her? Even though you've been tested negative for it, we still advise you to go ahead and quarantine yourself for 14 days. Why have a test if you're still going to tell people to quarantine, even if it's negative? You don't have it, but go ahead and still lock yourself in your house. The information, the stuff that they're doing, it's ridiculous. I mean, you go to Walmart, you go to Target, you go to Kroger's, all these big stores, nationwide chains, and they're full of people. But you can't go to church. The bug spreads only at night. That's why we have curfews. After 10 p.m., the bug wakes up and it starts spreading around, right? It's so smart. This bug is so smart that it can tell the difference between a BLM protest and a Trump rally. And it only picks the Trump rallies because it doesn't like those Trumpsters, right? I mean, it's the information is absolutely insane. And it's all for a reason, folks. It's for a reason because they've known this for years, that this type of stuff, pandemic fears, deadly diseases, it's Hollywood's made tons of movies on it. It instills probably more fear than just about anything. And they don't really have to do anything about it. No bombs have to be dropped. No buildings have to be blown up. Nothing like that. All they got to do is create enough panic that the people will lose their minds and they will do whatever they're told. Whatever they're told, no matter how ridiculous it is. Like, it was at Pennsylvania, I think. Pennsylvania or Minnesota. They're telling people to wear a mask in your home. In your home? I mean, are they going to start going door to door and checking on that? And that's insane. Wear a mask when you're having intimate relations with your partner. I mean, where's the logic? And there isn't any logic. It's all about control. They want this is like a little game for them. They want to just see just how far they can push us. Because then they can say, okay, now we know we got them. Now we know that they're going to do whatever we want them to do. And then we start rolling out all this other new stuff. They'll just fall in for it. They'll just buy it. Oh, your money's diseased. Oh, guns are bad. That's going to cause even more spread. You got to get rid of them. You can't go to church at all. They got to all close. The only ones that can open are ones that are approved by the government. We mandate what they can teach. That way we know that the virus is not going to spread there. I mean, on and on and on, folks. Probably have a small window. And for those of you, there's some of you are already in lockdown. But there's a big hype for it. And there's this mixed information. Some officials are saying, oh, no, we don't want to do a lockdown. Other ones are like, lock it down. And then we'll see what's going on over in other countries. I think it's probably going to come here, at least in some way. They're going to try. They're going to do their best. We also have, other shortages that are looming ahead of us. I was looking at global food reports. I know a lot of people saying, yeah, the crops did pretty good this year in the United States. Maybe so. But on a global scale, everything was way down. So long term, looks like it's going to be kind of rough again also. Short term, rough. Everything's rough right now. 2021 is coming up, and I don't think it's going to get any better, not for a while. So folks, as we head into, some of you are going to be celebrating a holiday next week. Take advantage of it if you can. If you're able to stock up on some stuff, get yourself ready just in case you need to hunker down for a while, or you're just not able to get what you need. Go ahead and do that, because I don't know. It's possible. I have a feeling, but maybe I'm wrong. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.